Stephen Eskinazi, it was a tough end to the season, but this was always going to be a tough finale coming to Chelmsford.
Yeah, absolutely. Benchmark of the competition for 2 years now. Unbelievable on their home turf, and a side packed with guys who have got the job done the last few years. So a huge challenge for us as a young group coming in playing some pretty good cricket to this point. And obviously a really good opportunity for us to see where we are against one of the best Division 1 sides. So didn't go to plan for us this week. We got thoroughly outplayed, but I think we'll learn a hell of a lot from these last 3 days to take into next year.
The coach had talked a lot about performance levels across the games leading up to this that he was happy with. I think he said it as well, apart from a mad session against Hampshire. But this was, as we say, going to be the benchmark. It was in a way its own kind of final, wasn't it, for Middlesex? And as you say, a real test of where things perhaps need to fit together still.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we spoke about being the underdogs in this competition from the start. So to put ourselves in a position where if we had 3 or 4 good days, we could be playing a Bob Willis Trophy final, I think was very pleasing. Maybe a position not many thought we'd be in. So we were very proud of that effort. Definitely disappointed to come here and perform the way we did. But as we said, we'll take away what we've taken from the first 4 games, some real positives in our reflections going to 4-day cricket next year, and with some additions coming into next year, we really feel like we'll be well placed to challenge for that promotion again.
You found yourself in a tough position on the first morning, having, I think it was 13 hours between the end of the T20 match and the start of the match here, but winning the toss, you thought, I'm sure, don't want to be batting last on this against Harmer and Co. So it was a bat first morning for Middlesex, which I think everyone agreed. But obviously that 10:30 start in September didn't help.
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, we take responsibility. There's no excuses. The schedule's the same for everybody, and it's the way the modern day cricketer needs to play. We need to be able to adapt, take that in our stride. So yeah, the decision, pardon me, on the first morning was an interesting one. It was sort of the lesser of 2 evils there. We know they're a very good new ball attack, and it does nip around here on the first morning. But when you've got a guy who's taken as many wickets as Simon Harmer has in the last 3 or 4 years here, you have to take note of that. So we thought if we batted well and weathered the storm, and maybe if we were 60 for 3 instead of 60 for 5, it would have been a different story. And similarly at 40 for 4, we really thought we could roll them there in the first inning. So yeah, I think if our performance levels were up 15% across the game, it could have been a tighter contest.
Have you enjoyed the captaincy? I mean, all being well, it will be handed over to Peter Hanscom next year, but you've skipped quite a chopping and changing side, obviously with the youngsters getting their go. Everybody needed to get some cricket, didn't they? So it was never a settled side, but everybody at some point seems to have chipped in all the formats, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a massive honour and a privilege, and I've learned an unbelievable amount over the last 5 games. Probably hasn't gone the way I would have liked to personally with the bat, but I've taken some real confidence. I've had a great time captaining the boys. Regardless of our performance levels, one thing I can say is we have a phenomenal group of men, some people who take responsibility, it's people who play the game in the right way. So it's been awesome to be able to represent them. And I think we've all learned, as you said, guys have stuck their hands up, and we'll definitely be reflecting on a positive note at the end of the season. And hopefully we can win a couple more T20s and put ourselves in a position for some knockout stages there.
And personally, the white ball cricket's gone well for you the last couple of years. Again this year in the T20, 3 consecutive 50s in the Blast, and that's where the runs have come for you this year.
Yeah, it confuses me as much as it confuses everyone else, I'm sure. I guess that's the challenge as a cricketer. You know, you're trying your hardest every game, and sometimes things click and sometimes they don't. Let alone in a season where everything's so condensed, it's incredibly difficult to go away and work on your game. So you get on a roll and you get in a rhythm. We've spoken about momentum as a team, and I think momentum as a player is even bigger. You know, in this red ball game, the innings come thick and fast, and if you do need to tweak 1 or 2 things, it becomes difficult. And similarly in white ball cricket, you know, to go and play with a bit of freedom, to enjoy myself, to not really worry about where my off stump is or my backlift is, has been really refreshing. So I'm loving my cricket there. I'm really, really excited for the next couple of weeks, and hopefully, you know, we as a side can push for those knockout stages.
How much do you think has been taken out? I mean, as I say, the captaincy will go on the next year, but obviously you'll be vice captain and a senior player. How much do you think has been taken out of this Bob Willis Trophy? Because again, the coach was keen to point out that the 4 games up to this, performance levels have been high. Wanted to set up that game at Kent, whether it denied Middlesex in a strong position there. But so many chipped in. Do you feel that the formula's there close for next year, whether it's a conference or it's back to divisions, to kick on next year?
Yeah, absolutely, a huge amount. I think we can emotionally reflect on this game now and think it's all a bit of doom and gloom. But fundamentally, when we look back, you know, we lost to 2 Division 1 sides, and we should have probably won the other 3 games. So if we had won 3 first-class games and lost 2 at the start of the year, I think we probably would have taken that. We pride ourselves on playing well in all conditions against all opposition. But you know, there's got to be a sense of realism with no overseas players and a really, really young squad. So I absolutely think individually guys will go out and reflect on some really positive performances. And as a group, I think we'll take snippets over the last 5 or 6 games that we can say, you know, that hour is the way we want to play, that session's the way we want to play, or that game is the way we want to play. I don't think there's any point reflecting on that now. I think there'll be conversations had over a beer or over a coffee in the coming months, and we'll start figuring out how we can get better, where we can get better, and how we can start challenging again.